Hi everyone, it's Debbie, the shrink on your couch. I'm just giving some thoughts to the work that I do with couples, and I wanted to share a few thoughts with you. You know, I've developed a pretty standard formula for onboarding a couple. You know, so when I meet with a new with a new couple, you know, I generally ask them why they've come, what their expectations are. If it turns out to have been successful, what do they think they would have achieved? You know, and the more I listen, the more I hear that 9 out of 10 of them pretty much say the same thing. They want a strategy for dealing with conflict. They want to learn how to fight in a constructive way. They want to hear each other. And what I've realized is that that's not actually what they want. Those are the tools and the skills that they want, but the outcome that they want is real contact and real connection with each other. And it's the contact and the connection that has gotten lost somewhere along the way. And they're desperate to get it back. And in their desperation, they're fighting with each other. And in their fighting, they're frustrated because no matter what they say, no matter what they do, no matter how they try to be heard, it doesn't yield contact. It doesn't yield connection. I quite like the visual metaphor of the Care Bears stare. If you've ever been a Care Bears fanatic or watched it with your kids or as a child, you'll know that at some point two bears will be looking at each other, and a huge rainbow will burst out of the one's heart and connect with the other, and there'll be this magical moment of starlight and real contact between these two bears. And it's that I seek for my couples in my therapy office, no matter how ridiculous that sounds. And I can see it when it happens. I can see where something shifts, something gives way, and they've entered into a space where there's a Care Bear stare. For the first time, maybe in years, maybe in decades, they've actually said something, heard it, taken it on board, and started to see the person in front of them for who they really and truly are. It probably harkens back to the person they met. They probably start to feel something like they did in the early years, and it's a really special thing to see. It also makes me think the 13th century Persian poet Rumi, who said, out beyond our ideas of right doing and wrongdoing, there is a field, and I'll meet you there. That's something I aspire to so much for my couples, especially the ones who I know are desperate to reconnect, desperate to make things right. You know, they come in with so much hurt, anger, bitterness, resentment, exhaustion. And we've got to start with that content. Of course it's important. Of course it matters what's happened. But I often find that the more we engage, the more we talk about these things, the more we start to move beyond the ideas of right doing and wrongdoing. You did this, you said this, this happened, that happened, this destroyed my trust, this destroyed my faith. If they push through that, they have the opportunity to get to Rumi's field, where it's beyond right and wrong, and I meet you there. Two souls, two people that have been journeying together, neither of which is perfect, but both of which needs grace and love and understanding and compassion more than anything or more than anyone from the person that they're in a long-term romantic relationship with. It's the best part of my job. It's the best work that I do when I'm able to facilitate getting a couple from that starting point of hurt and bitterness and animosity through all of that to the point that there's this moment of connection where they suddenly let down their guard, let down their defenses, and start speaking their truths from their heart. It's the purest. It's the purest thing I've probably witnessed. It doesn't happen for every couple, but it's certainly something particularly magical and beautiful that is possible. And I think that probably what makes it most most possible is a belief in the fallibility of humans. So just an understanding, and I mean, you know, of the people that I'm working with, not necessarily just myself. If you can understand that humans are fallible, you're fallible, you fail, so will your partner. It doesn't necessarily need to mean more than they've just made a mistake. That's important. Grace, which is probably the ability, what is grace? The ability to forgive and look beyond and look for the soul and the connection and the contact beyond just the act. So a belief in fallibility, a belief in grace, and a willingness to get beyond washing list and laundry lists of good and bad and wrongdoing and right doing, and just find the person that your soul fell in love with in the early days. I know this isn't the whole picture. I know there's so much to these things, but I just wanted to share that with you as some food for thought. Have a lovely weekend, and we'll chat as we go.